Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
I can definitely tell you I won't be complaining about the heat next Monday. Thanks for sticking around for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Andrew Fillipponi in a matter of moments at the 93.7 The Fan Cam. And there he is. And Pony, we definitely have a lot to talk about here tonight. Unfortunately, you get stuck with me because Bob and I had to switch days. He's going Thursday. I'm in for him today. I'm going on a golf trip tomorrow. A sneaky good golf trip in Ocean City. We got 3 nice courses lined up. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight to talk about Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know if you heard the Sportscast. I did find out he is here. I have that confirmed at least, but I don't know what is going on. The Steelers haven't met with him. No contract right now. Who knows? I was actually at Nevillewood on Friday. He wasn't playing there. I was at Longview on Saturday. He wasn't playing there. Haven't seen him at a golf course. I don't know where he is, but I know he's here.
Well, how far outside of Pittsburgh does here count as? Like, if he's at Nemacolin, staying there in that luxurious
I think
resort,
that counts,
would
that
count as Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, Western PA. Let's go Western PA.
All right.
But I know he's here.
They've got some very nice golf courses there.
They do.
They also, as you know, have a very private runway. You can fly a plane into Nemacolin and not fly into one of the airports and just land right there if you wanted to. So that's a shout out to them. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he's been hanging out the last few days. Maybe he brought his wife with him, although I hesitate to say that because he's made it very clear he doesn't like us to talk about his wife in the public eye. Whatever. Yeah, Richie, this is dragged on for longer than it needs to. I don't want him back. I want to see Will Howard play week 1. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see him have a chance to be the guy right from the beginning and see how it goes. And if he's not very good, well, then you give Drew Aller a opportunity at some point this season. But I just look at Aaron Rodgers as a complete waste of time. And I wish Art Rooney and Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy and the people that run the Steelers would get together and make a decision that's good for the long-term growth of the franchise. And I think that's moving on from a 42-year-old quarterback.
So this leads me to our Penn West University question. I just scanned that QR code in the right-hand corner of your screen. Do you think Aaron Rodgers gives the Steelers the best chance to win at quarterback? I do, but I'm with you. I want to see someone else.
Well, I mean, that should be 100% to 0%. Everybody should say he gives them the best chance to win, meaning right now, technically, currently, he's a better quarterback than Mason Rudolph, Drew Aller, and Will Howard. But in my opinion, not every team should do it that way. Not every team should play the guy that gives them the best chance to win week 1 because you've got long-term things to think about with your quarterback. For example, maybe the Raiders won't start Mendoza week 1, but they should play him soon, because he's the guy that is going to be their franchise quarterback and the player that gives them the best chance to win big picture. Kirk Cousins might give them a better chance for the first 2 or 3 games of the season, but what good does Kirk Cousins do for the Raiders in the long run? Not much. And I say the same thing's true of the Steelers right now. Yes, Howard's not a first overall pick, and Aller wasn't one either, but I'm more interested in seeing if Mike McCarthy is this great quarterback guru, then let's give him a chance to have these guys play, prepare them to play, and then coach them up and work with them and have them work on their weaknesses and failures in games and make them better. Not trying to find some magic you had with a quarterback 15 years ago. That's a long, long time ago what they did to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Both guys are much older, and I don't see much upside to pairing them up again this season.
So do you think, just to counterpoint to this, but do you think if Aaron Rodgers comes back here, can he help guys? Can he help mentor like a Drew Aller? Because I think you don't waste a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback if you don't have him higher in the pecking order than a 6th-round pick, my opinion. I don't know that. We haven't seen anything. We didn't even get to see Will Howard last year. But I would have to imagine that this is Mike McCarthy's guy, and if you're going to try to mold him to be a starter, it's Drew Aller.
Well, Drew Aller apparently needs to be broken down all the way to like the basics of quarterback play before he gets out there. Okay, so I think you're right. I think Mike McCarthy doesn't draft Drew Aller in the 3rd round if he doesn't think or believe he can be better than Will Howard, who was picked in the 6th round the year before. But I would say right now, Howard is closer to playing. Even though Howard didn't play at all last year because of his injury, he's older than Aller. He's more experienced in college than Aller. And he was around, not Mike McCarthy's system, but he was around an NFL team for a full year. And he got to absorb those things that you're talking about from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't see, for Will Howard specifically, I don't know what watching Aaron Rodgers for a 2nd year, how that's really going to make him that much better of a quarterback. 2 years of really doing nothing and just sitting around. I think it's time to see what you have in him and then eventually get to Drew Aller. And look, I mean, did it help Aaron Rodgers that he sat behind Brett Favre? I guess in the long run it did, but I don't think that's necessary in order for Drew Aller to be a good quarterback, just observing and learning from Aaron Rodgers the entire season. You've got Mason Rudolph around. He's a veteran quarterback, Richie.
And that's what I want to bring up before we go to break here. You brought up the Raiders and maybe Kirk Cousins starting the season, but would it make sense to have someone like Mason Rudolph start the season and then figure out what you have with Will Howard or Drew Aller?
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't think it would last very long. I think it would be probably, maybe a 2 or 3 game thing. And, maybe Rudolph knocked us off our feet and played great. I don't expect that. I don't anticipate that. But I guess he always could. He didn't have his moments when he started and helped the Steelers get to the playoffs. But I'd even prefer that to Aaron Rodgers again. There's just no upside with Aaron Rodgers. And he made some great plays and great throws and won some big games last year. But we saw how that movie ended in the playoffs. And I don't think just swapping out Mike Tomlin for Mike McCarthy is going to have a 43-year-old quarterback looking like he's 33 this season.
All right, we're taking your phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. It's our Xfinity Tweet of the Night. Your buddy Donnie Football gets a shout out here for our Tweet of the Night. Connor Griffin, since turning 20, look at that stat line. Pretty solid, right? 162 game pace right there. 30 home runs, 111 RBI, 30 doubles, 10 triples, 50 stolen bases. Pretty big numbers. You think that could happen?
Well, no doubt. Well, I think eventually it will. I think he will be one of those types of guys. And it would be nice if the Pirates could win some of these games where they have late leads with him. And he helped them get that lead yesterday. And then the bullpen blew up again. And we've seen that too many times with the Pirates bullpen. Soto, I think, has been very good late in games. What a good signing that was by Ben Cherington. Dennis Santana has had his ups and downs, more ups than downs, of course. But then once you get past those guys, I mean, you just spin a wheel, Richie.
Yeah.
Montgomery's better lately. Ramirez is bad right now. Can't throw a strike. You've got Lawrence, who, I don't know why he's still on the team, frankly. Same thing with Sanders. Siska's actually been pretty good, but they barely use him. So they got to find some bullpen arms here. I think that, to me, is the weakest link of this team. Defense is a close second, but bullpen arms and being able to fill out a pitching staff when your starting pitchers don't go that deep into games because the team doesn't want them to, evidently. That's where they lose a lot of games, by relying on those middle inning guys, Richie.
No question about it. And I was looking up some stats here today. I think they have a 6.65 ERA. The bullpen does in the last 2 weeks, which is near the bottom of the majors. And that's one of the reasons that they're on this tailspin right now and losing to teams like San Francisco, which you should never lose to. The manager doesn't even know how to manage or coach. Coming from Tennessee, doesn't even know how to get a bullpen arm out, and they lose to a team like that. But I mean, statistically, their 8th inning has been their worst if you look at the whole season. But I look at the innings like you just pointed out, 6, 7, and I didn't try to do that for my kids at all. But those are the innings, and that's where you're going to see guys like Montgomery and Justin Lawrence and Ramirez, who's been a problem the last couple games, like you said. I know you tweeted something a little bit earlier about potentially getting a bullpen arm, but this could be solved, inside the organization too. Jared Jones is going to be back in less than a month, right? You're going to have to move a guy, and I'd imagine that's going to be Carmen Mlodzinski, right? Because he has similar statistics or similar stats to Bubba Chandler. Bubba Chandler has more walks, but Mlodzinski has more hits. So I guess they kind of even each other out.
Well, Mlodzinski doesn't give up home runs, which is a big deal, too. I mean, he's been excellent at being able to keep the ball inside the ballpark for really almost the last year now in a game that, ever increasingly is all about guys trying to hit home runs. I still think even beyond that extra bolt or boost coming from Jared Jones, you need to find somebody else. I mean, it would be incredible, and I don't think this will happen, but it would be amazing if the Pirates could get Aroldis Chapman back from the Red Sox in the next couple of months. The Red Sox are having a horrible season.
What would you have to give up?
Offense is,
I'm just curious. What someone asked me that, and I'm trying to figure out what you'd have to give up. I don't like a single A prospect.
That's a good question. I don't think it's you can't do Seth Hernandez, obviously, so he's out of the question. We know that. Outside of that, though, how many guys are really viewed as definite major leaguers who are in their minor league system? Tamar Johnson's been terrible at AAA this year, just god-awful. Hunter Barco, Thomas Harrington, both of those guys have struggled. As far as players that are close to the majors, I'm sure they've got hitters that are more in their low minor league system, like single A, maybe even double A. And maybe that's the kind of trade you make with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Players that are still years away that you're not really thinking about as much right now that do have some upside, but you sacrifice guys like that, Richie, to try to compete for a World Series.
All right, let's go to our number one Cochran call of the night. That's Chuck from Uniontown. How you doing, Chuck?
Good evening, fellas. I'd like to know, first of all, do you think the Pirates will have to finish at least second in the Central Division to get a wild card? And the other thing I'd like to ask you, eventually, do you think that Connor Griffin will pass Stewart in Cincinnati and Weatherholt in St. Louis?
For Rookie of the Year, I don't know. I want to see this play out. I mean, there's still other guys that have opportunities to make a run at it too. But as for your first point that you were trying to make, I do. I think that they're either going to have to win the division or finish second. I doubt. I mean, will 2 wild cards come out of this division? It is the best division right now, most competitive one.
I think it could. I didn't feel that way when the season started. Now I think it definitely can. The NL West has the Padres right now to go with the Dodgers. The National League East is the Braves in a runaway. Maybe the Phillies get themselves back into it. But right now, I do think it's going to be a 3-team division to make the playoffs. And I would predict right now Cubs, Brewers, and Pirates would be the 3 teams. I think the Reds are a little bit of phonies. They won a lot of one-run games early in the year. I don't know if their starting pitching is going to get healthy. If it does, look out. If it doesn't, I think they're in trouble. And I think the Cardinals are really frauds. I mean, they've had Weatherholt and Walker's gotten off to a great start. Their pitching has been way above its head, both starters and bullpen. And I don't see that lasting over 162 games. So I think it's very possible, though. The Cubs, I believe, are for real. And the Brewers always find a way. And the Pirates, to me, are the X-factor team there to get in. And I think they do have the starting pitching and the lineup. It's going to come down to that bullpen and whether or not they can catch the ball in the outfield, too.
I mean, but you're going to have to compete with teams in the other divisions, too. San Diego, that's a wild card team, right? Or L.A., one of the two, you would think.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough.
I don't know if that division gets another one, though. The Giants have been a joke. The Mets have been a joke. Those are teams that were thought to be playoff contenders before the season started.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break, but coming back next, we're going to go back to the phone lines. JB, hold on. We'll get to you after the break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Coverage. Walsh along with Andrew Fillipponi here tonight, taking your phone calls answering your tweets. We didn't get any tweets. Well, we got some, but they were negative, so I'm not going to read them. But we're going to go to the phone line. We're going to get JB out in Shadyside. How you doing, JB?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
All right. Good, thanks. So I was listening to the Seattle Seahawks GM talk about what he likes in a player. The number one thing is to be like all in with focus and 100% mentally in the game. That's why I'm bullish on Will Howard, because I think he's very studious, mentally focused on the game, not thinking about making commercials and all this stuff that Kenny Pickett was making. I'm bullish on Will Howard. You're going to see.
Well, I hope you're right. It sounds like Pony's a little bullish on Will Howard, too. I can tell you, and I've said this is no secret. When I'm over there, Will Howard is the last guy to leave. He spends an extra 30 minutes to 45 minutes on the field. I'm out there taping my stand-ups and live shots and stuff, and he's still out there throwing balls. No one else is out there. Maybe one receiver with him. So, yes, he's one of the hardest workers on the team. That'll get you somewhere.
What?
I mean, because Sidney Crosby has the talent, and he's the hardest worker on the team.
Sure. I don't think Kenny Pickett's problem was that he did commercials, to be honest with you. Looking back on it, I think he had much bigger problems than in terms of maybe his hand size and his decision-making in games and his arm strength and those things. But, if you're going to make the point about how Howard is so committed to football, that's great. How do you explain Aaron Rodgers coming back then? Does he look committed to football right now? Seems like he's pretty wishy-washy.
Hey, Pony, let me throw something. Let me throw something out at you. This happened last year. He signed the first week of June, right? We don't have a lot of time here, but I want to get to it. Do you think that his disdain for the NFL is so bad that he wants to wait until after the schedule release and then sign?
Well, he did last year, and the NFL assumed he was going to play, so they scheduled that game against the Jets in Week 1. So it didn't really end up making a difference for him. They still acted as if he was going to be on the team and scheduled the games accordingly, including, trips to places like Green Bay. And, the game here against Green Bay was Sunday Night Football, Richie.
Yeah, I know.
They had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't understand why. Why can't you just sign it and say, I'm not showing up until minicamp, but I'm going to sign this contract?
Because he's Aaron Rodgers, because he's difficult, Richie. That's why. That's your answer.
He likes drama, right? We want a drama-free Steelers locker room this year. I guess we're not going to have it, though. If you had to take a guess real quick, when do you think he will sign? Or not?
I think he's going to sign tomorrow night when I'm on the air with Bob mid-show.
Oh, okay. All right. Figures it's Bob and not me. Thanks a lot, Pony. See you next week. Hopefully we see you guys on KDKA News right now.